with our good friend, Alphonse Shank Taylor, former starting Alabama offensive lineman, two-time national champion. He knows a little bit about this path that his Crimson Tide is taking, heading to Atlanta for the Southeastern Conference Championship game on Saturday. First things first, though, Shank, that Thanksgiving spread that we sort of previewed last Tuesday here on the program, did it go off as expected?
Oh man, it was everything above immaculate. It's just like one of those things. Like instantly after you ate, you needed a nap. It was so good, man.
Was the sweet potatoes and macaroni and cheese touching like you like it? Did you have that lined up?
Oh, you know they were. That was a major key of the plate set up right there. Sweet potatoes had to be touching the mac and cheese.
That's the X factor.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I got you. How about the seafood dressing that you have us all wanting now? That I guess the in-laws or someone is responsible for that. We want some of that now, but I'm guessing it was great as well.
Oh man, it was amazing. It was just one of the best things I had for my Thanksgiving.
Now, what's the binder? What's the binder in that dressing, Shank? Is it cornbread? You know, is it breadcrumbs? It's cornbread. Okay. Oh yeah.
Jiffy mixed cornbread.
Oh, wow. And then with all that seafood in there.
Oh yeah.
Little onion. Oh, yeah. Little bell pepper, maybe. Celery.
She goes no celery. She goes light on the onion and bell pepper. And she focuses more on the shrimp and crab.
Yeah, that's what you want, right? That's like crab cakes. When you go somewhere, Shank, and they have crab cakes, and you like crab cakes, and then they bring them out, and it's more like a croquet or something. It's not lump crab. You know what I'm talking about? It's all the filler in the binder. I don't know if there's a bigger disappointment culinarily than that.
That is a major disappointment right there.
So what about leftovers for Alphonse Shank Taylor? Are there any, first of all, I guess I need to ask, but then, is there a process for the leftovers from Thanksgiving? We did a turkey soup. The chocolate lady took a bone-in turkey breast that I smoked and just threw that baby in a pot and just, populated it with everything you could think of and made a nice soup. What about you? What are you, just sandwich guy? Are you simple?
Oh yeah, I'm a big leftover sandwich guy, man. So for a couple of days here, man, I was eating brisket sandwiches, smoked turkey sandwiches, and I was just remixing them as I could, man. I add an egg here and there. I go turkey and bacon, a little lettuce, tomato, a little onion, so I'm mostly a sandwich guy. I did some brisket po' boys as well. So
French roll.
Oh yeah.
It got to be a French. It's not a po' boy, right? Without that
fresh
that roll
from the deli.
What about the turkey sandwich? Are you mayo on the turkey sandwich guy or cranberry sauce? How do you load that baby up, or you just stick to the basics there?
I'm a mayo guy. A little mayo, salt and pepper, lettuce, tomato.
So, like, if this were a big three, like Wade, Bosch, and LeBron with the Heat, what's the big three on your sandwich? What's the headliners when you make that sandwich?
Big three for me is always the meat, of course. Turkey. Yeah. If I go double meats on a sandwich, it's probably turkey and bacon. I don't like to double up the red meat, so I'll go turkey, bacon, and lettuce, tomato, salt, pepper.
At this point, I'm sure some listeners are wondering exactly what they've tuned into. This is not a Food Network show. This is actually a sports talk show, but we've got our priorities in order. Trust me, when it comes to Shank and myself. Now, let's get to some football. Just your thoughts on the Iron Bowl from Saturday. No, that's another big date on your calendar annually. How did the game go in your opinion? And also more so maybe even from a line of scrimmage standpoint, because you obviously have a ton of experience in those trenches. What did you think of the performance?
I think we had a tough start beginning the game, especially with controlling the line of scrimmage. We really didn't dominate the first half as much as I liked us to, but that second half, man, we came out and we got some stuff going. We protected to it better. And we came out more physical, man, more nasty in the second half. And ultimately, I think that's what started to swing the game in our favor.
Deontay Brown gets the start at left guard. I was a little surprised by that, to be honest with you, but the turf toe didn't seem to limit him too much. I'll say this, though. You know, when you look at the numbers for Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs, and Damian Harris in that game, combined for 21 carries, Shank, 95 rushing yards, and no touchdowns on the ground for those three guys. If you're Auburn, that's pretty much mission accomplished, isn't it, on the defensive side?
I mean, is there the moral victories? I guess so, but at the same time, Tua had himself a day. And so that's the problem with defending our offense. We're not just a one-dimensional offense anymore. We're a two-headed monster. So if he just so happened to slow down the run game enough, you still got to worry about Tua and those receivers on the back end, which is arguably this year a bigger problem in the run game.
And Tua in the run game more and more, it seems like, the last couple of weeks. Do you like seeing that, especially on designed runs like his touchdown run against Auburn? Or are you kind of simultaneously holding your breath, even though you do have a guy like Jalen Hurts over there if needed?
Well, I mean, I hold my breath a little bit because, like any normal fan at this point, you're a little concerned about his health because that knee seemed to be pretty banged up for a while, and now all of a sudden he's ill, so it's like, what in the world happened? But at the same time, man, he's sneaky athletic. Like, he got some sneaky speed and some really sneaky juke moves that I think he went and stole from Judy down in Florida. Because he can make some guys miss pretty bad, as you've seen in that Auburn game, man. And so I'm a fan of him running. I'm a big fan of him running, actually.
Looks like he's got that knee issue totally behind him, too, or at least for the most part, that is behind Tua Tagovailoa. Now we look ahead to SEC Championship Week. You've been a part of a couple of these. How are they different in terms of, if they're different, from preparation to, you know, when you make the trip over to Atlanta, and how it kind of works once you get to the ATL and then leading up to the game? How is this game different, and does it help playing those neutral site games? Because I got to think the itinerary might be somewhat similar to the opener at places in like Orlando or Atlanta or Dallas, and then going to a game like this at a neutral site in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, I mean, not much is going to change as far as travel arrangements and the way we prepare for the game. With it being a neutral site game, like you said, it's just like when we traveled for our first game. But I can tell you one thing that is going to change the focus. At this point, this is when stuff gets surreal, man. Like, this is when you're just like, we really hear, like, we're towards the end of the season. It's time to really lock in and really do what we have to do to get this done, because everybody knows Georgia's a good team, and they're literally standing in the way of another national championship. And so everybody's aware of that. So I think if nothing else changes right now, the focus and just all the players locking in and being ready, that's going to be on high right now.
What are the chances, Shank, and we're talking with Alphonse Shank Taylor on a Thursday edition of Shank Uncut on Southern Fried Sports, presented by Carty and Lloyd Attorneys at Law and also Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa. What are the chances, Shank, that the noise, that the narrative, that look, even with a loss, assuming it's not a blowout loss, Alabama is going to be in the college football playoff? What chance does that narrative, that noise have of infiltrating the Malmore Athletic Facility this week? Any?
Oh, I can tell you right now, Saban's going to tell them we control our own destiny, and we want to keep it that way. He doesn't want to hear anything about if we lose, none of that. We're going to go out and we're going to go win this football game. And it all starts in preparation this week and doing what we have to do to get ready to play this ball game. Anything else is just noise, rat poison, as it says, and we need to block it out.
Shank, are you worried about this Alabama run game at this point? You know, when you look at the season totals and understanding they've been impacted by this explosive passing game. I mean, it's not so much that Alabama's been inept in the run game, but when and if the time comes that it really needs to call on or might need to call on that aspect of the offense, do you have any concerns about that at this point?
Honestly, I don't at all. It's not something I'm really worried about. Not something that I've stressed over too much. I mean, well, I like to see them run the ball a little better, of course, but is it something that I'm worried about at the moment? Not at all, because I feel as if when it comes down to it, and we really need the run game to flourish, I think our guys will pull through. I think the O-line will step up, and I think the backs will make us right. And so it's nothing I'm not too worried about the run game at all.
So what's your expectation for Saturday? How do you see this thing playing out between Alabama and Georgia? Do you have a score in mind? Maybe a concern or something that you feel especially good about from the Alabama perspective going into this one?
I think the biggest thing for us is to step up on special teams. Haven't really had an impact on special teams. We had Waddle towards the beginning of the year doing some things on punt return, but other than that, I haven't really seen much out of special teams, man. And I'm just looking for that big hit on kickoff to kind of sway the momentum and just let Georgia know we're here and we're here to play ball physically. And that's really all I want to see, man. I think it's going to be a tough game. You know, Fromm's talented, at Georgia defense, they're talented. So I think it's going to be a tough grind game. We've shown that we can grind those type games out and make it happen in the end. So I think we'll be fine.
You think more points in this one than in January when the two teams combined for 49 points and it took regulation and an overtime for them to get there? You think this game could end up in the 30s?
Oh yeah,
or north
with these.
Yeah. So maybe a shootout in store for Alabama, Georgia on Saturday afternoon at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Hey, Shank, as always, my man, we appreciate you joining us here on the program. I just got hit up on Twitter, by the way, by Coach DC Woods, who tells me, y'all got me hungry. I got to get something besides a banana and peanut butter crackers. We talking all that Thanksgiving. Got Coach. You did a good job with that. But it's always a lot of fun to be with you, Shank, and always appreciate your contributions here to Southern Fried Sports. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch up real soon.
All right. Thanks. Roll Tide.